Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down one of those moments that just completely changes the game. A moment when the very secret, very hidden world of cyber warfare just burst out into the open, live for everyone to hear. This is a story about a whole new kind of conflict, one that's not fought in the shadows, but right out there in the public square.
So just imagine this. You're chilling in an X space, a live audio chat. The title is AI and Cybersecurity and Insecurity and Coffee. Sounds pretty normal, right? Then, out of nowhere, the host announces a new guest in the room, Team Chronus. Yeah, the very same hacker group that had just launched a major attack against an entire country. It's like a ghost just walked right onto the stage.
Now, you've got to understand, this wasn't some random troll just looking for a little bit of attention. No way. This was a calculated, strategic move in a completely new kind of information war. And to really get why this happened, you first have to understand what they did, and more importantly, who they decided to talk to.
What happened right after that announcement was just unheard of. It was a live, public conversation between a wanted international hacker and a very well-respected independent analyst. And this wasn't some kind of tense hostage negotiation. It was something way, way stranger, and honestly, a lot more revealing about where all of this is headed.
Okay, but before we get to that live chat, we need to talk about the attack itself. Let's rewind the clock just a few days to see how an entire nation's digital backbone was targeted. And the crazy part? It wasn't done in secret. It was a public performance.
So, on March 19th, this analyst, Alberto Daniel Hill, is just doing his thing, monitoring chatter in a public X space. Suddenly, he picks up on a direct threat from Team Chronus. He immediately puts out this warning, a threat intelligence flash, saying a huge data theft is about to hit Argentina. And we're talking about the big stuff: citizen records, financial data, government secrets, basically all the information a country needs to actually function.
And guess what? It wasn't a bluff. A few days later, bam! Team Chronus did exactly what they said they were going to do. Government websites suddenly look like this, with that banner plastered all over them. It proved Hill's intelligence was spot on, all while the government itself was completely silent.
So, this brings up a really big question, right? The government isn't talking, official channels are useless. So why on earth would a major hacking group decide to talk live and in public with this one specific analyst?
Well, the answer comes down to this idea of transversal authority. See, Hill had built this incredibly rare kind of trust, one that actually crossed over that digital divide. Both the good guys and the bad guys saw him as an honest broker, someone who cared more about the technical truth than anything else. But Hill's authority, it doesn't come from a fancy degree. It comes from surviving a total system failure. He was wrongfully imprisoned for 17 months. That experience gave him this deep, personal understanding of just how broken and corrupt institutions can be.
That trauma, it changed him. To the digital underground, he wasn't just another suit. He was a survivor of the system. That's what earned him the name the Digital Knight. He's this figure who only deals in hard, verifiable facts, which gave him the unique kind of street cred he needed to step into the middle of this crisis.
Which brings us right back to that X space. The stage is set. You've got the analyst with this unique authority on one side and the hacker who just brought a country's digital infrastructure to its knees on the other. And instead of some big confrontation, Hill just offers him the mic. A guy from Chronus, using the name L0tech, steps up to speak. And what he says next isn't a boast, it's not a threat. It was a completely honest and frankly stunning confession about the whole Argentina attack. 5 to 10. That's it. That's how many minutes, the guy from Chronus said, it took them to break into Argentina's government systems. I mean, think about that. Not hours, not days, minutes. And here is the absolute kicker. The hacker confessed, live on air, that the attack wasn't even sophisticated. The really terrifying part was that it didn't have to be. Their goal wasn't to show off how powerful they were. It was to show the whole world how incredibly weak the government was. So why are we talking so much about a 10-minute conversation on a social media app? Because it marks a massive shift in how these digital wars are fought, how they're announced, and how we, the public, experience them. We are leaving behind the era of old-school spy games played in the dark. We're now in an age of what some people are calling cyber-populism. It's a strategy where cyber attacks are less about being sneaky and more about being a spectacle, all designed to make people lose faith in the very institutions that are supposed to be protecting them.
You can pretty much tear up the old rulebook. Attackers are now skipping diplomacy entirely to talk directly to us, the people, using fear and silence as their main weapons. And the battlefield? It's not some secure server anymore. It's a public audio room.
So what's the bottom line here? It's that the line between a global crisis and public entertainment is just dissolving. The main stage for this new kind of theatrical warfare isn't some secret government building. It's social media. And the audience is all of us.
Look, this whole event was a story about human drama, human ego, and human failure. But it really makes you think, right? In a world where AI is becoming more and more autonomous, how long is it going to be before the next live confession, the next negotiation for a country's data, isn't with a human hacker, but with an AI itself?